Well, hello and welcome. In this video we're going to have a look at this Akai 4000D. This is a earlier model. I think it's probably a Mark 1. See what it does, see what it doesn't do. I can see, for a start, the pinch roller's filthy. The general front of the machine's quite dirty. There's dirt crud on here, so I think probably first thing to do is going to be to give this a clean. I'm going to start with the capstan and plug this in and see what it does. Okay, we're plugged in. Lights to come on down there, which you can't see very well. Play. Okay, that is filthy. I think I'm going to start off here. See what, if anything, I can get off here. Yeah. I'll run this round here. Also having a little feel of this, see if it's got any lumps or anything in it, which it hasn't. Alright, it's just years of crud. You can actually see it's starting to come off, which is good. Give it a try some soap. Wow, that's working better than the alcohol. I think it's quite obvious that this hasn't been cleaned in a long time. But all of this that's coming off, basically it's not going to get on my tape when I come to using a tape in it. Give it another squirt. Actually see it's starting to go black there. Get that clean. Wow. Even that's just, it's just cruddied up. Okay. Right, next thing I'm going to do is let's give the general thing a clean. I'll take these off. So unscrew that. Okay, that now goes onto there. I did try that before, it wouldn't go on. So I think I'm just going to foam cleaner and as well I can toothbrush. I don't want to be too aggressive where there's any printing. Now what I'm picking up on off this straight away, looking at the colour that's coming off here, it's got a yellow tinge to it. It might not be showing up in the camera. So what's coming off here is most definitely of its era. Good old nicotine. So we're going to be cleaning switches in this, if nothing else. What a difference, just a quick clean. Prior to putting that back together, I'm just going to give it a spray with that because it breaks up the soap. If it's not, it's alcohol based, but I tell you what, just from that I can see the difference. Just have a quick and basic clean and try and get this down here because this is absolutely riffy. Right, so we put a tape on it then and see what goes on. One, two, three. Connect the auto stop up and play. Now, I'm getting nothing on the VU meters, but that might not mean anything. It might mean this is a blank tape. It might mean there's a fault. Okay, I'm getting my meters moving when I'm moving the controls. I'll show you that closer. Now I'm also doing this. I'm getting some deflection on the meter. So we've got some crudeness in the controls. Let us rewind this and let's have a look at cleaning the thing. Let's see what happens if we put it into record. And the record light doesn't come on. Okay. I also perhaps need to have a look for a tape that I definitely know has got something recording on it. Okay, this is held in with 4 screws here and then maybe some screws underneath. So I'm just going to check for those first. So here and over the other side. Let's take them out. Put this back the right way around. I've just seen the state of the heads. They're absolutely filthy and rancid. So we're definitely going to take the head cover off and clean them. Next, take these rubber feet off. Because I suspect these are screwed all the way through and hold the machine together. Yeah, they look long enough, don't they? One more. And I believe will now be, yeah, the deck will come out. So let's grab this back to the table here. Yeah, I'll go through there. And okay, look. This comes out and the metal trim around the outside stays with the case. Okay, there we go. Let's feed this through the back of the cabinet. Put the cabinet out of the way and we'll have a look in the back. I'll realign you. Okay, so that's what we've got inside a 400D. very nicely set out. Power on this side, amplification on this side. A lot of screening. The belt needs replacing, I have got one. But the deck inside is actually very clean. That belt's had it. Again, replace that as we go through. So, let's have a look and see if we can get into this head assembly. I'm just going to go for the obvious option of remove these two screws. I don't know what the switch does, whether that's going to cause a problem. Looks like it. Looks like there's a screw hole there. So what's in that? Are we an Allen key or? Okay. I think it's an Allen key. I will go and find one. And at some point, I have lost my receiver. My radio mic. So, just before I go any further, I've lost my radio mic at some point in time taking this apart. So I just want to cover what we've done. We took the case off the back, 4 screws, 2 screws at the bottom, and I've just took the screws out here and just determined there's a small, what looks like an Allen key holding this switch on here. So I'm going to find some little Allen keys and we'll pop that off. Well, I've got some Allen keys. That one went in but didn't turn it. Let's go back a step. Just see if I can convince it. That's just jumping. That's not going to come off. Not with the tools that I've got here at the moment. So I think what we'll do is pivot a little bit and have a look at cleaning the tape heads rather than getting this off, and I'll have to get a few tools and we'll come back to that. Okay, as you can see there, those tape heads are pretty gnarly. You can see all the marks on this one here. Just try and rotate it so you can see it a bit better. Wear-wise, it doesn't look too bad. And I can't feel a lip. So let's see how these come up. All I'm going to do is use some blue roll and I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol. Little to nothing coming off them. Well, that one's come up a bit. There's a bit of that. A bit's come off that. This part here is absolutely rancid. That's made a difference. I think that is some sort of foam pad. We'll have a go at the there here. Don't really mind what that's made of, but we've got some shears off it. Yeah, that's vastly improved. Let's realign. I need to get a set of Allen keys that will work. Okay, a little time has passed and I've managed to get hold of this Allen key set. So hopefully the smallest of the Allen keys will fit this screw. If it doesn't, which it looks like it doesn't, you won't see this. Okay, this set's a bit of a nuisance. It is literally falling apart in my hand as I'm trying to use it, so I think I'm going to just remove the Allen key. Come on, you're biting into it, now undo it. Yep, there we go. So that was a 1.5mm Allen key that I've just used to take the grub through out of this on the head cover. Okay, you can see why it was tightened in. Hang on a second, I'll move you. So we can see there where this has come off. It's actually nailed in. So I'm hoping now that the cover can come off. It does. And now we can see the head changeover switch and the audio heads. They're all numbered, which is kind of cool. So we'll continue now with removing levels to take this. Did we want to take the front plate off? I can't remember if we wanted to take the front plate off. Did this have any mechanical issues, or was it just a belt and heads? I really don't know. Now I think, from what I remember, we were trying to get this to play and we weren't getting any audio out of it at all. So I'm going to pop this back on here, just loosely, to allow me to activate the switch. Give this a spray of some contact cleaner. Just give it a liberal. Now I can feel a difference actually there in that movement on that. So hopefully that means we get some audio out of it. So let's connect it up, put a tape on and see what happens. I have connected up a speaker. Now one of the first things I've noticed is this is crackling. So who knows, we'll see what we get. Now this particular bit of tape here, I know there's something on it because I've had it on another reel-to-reel. I was going around trying to find a little bit of sauce I can use. So let's stick this into play. Can we get something from it? As you can hear there. I wonder, do we need more speed? Okay. I suppose the only thing is that'll stop it being packed up on YouTube's Let's Find It engine. So that's good, because what that means is that we are now getting a stereo source out of it, and it was purely down to that switch there. Let's turn this off and put it back to the correct speed. Now turn off by taking the slack off the belt, off the tape there, look. So let's take that back off and let's put it back to 3 1/4. So interestingly, this tape has been recorded really slow, so it's not going to be particularly good quality ultimately. There we go. So what that sounds like to me is that's somebody that's playing a guitar themselves and playing that, which is good because it obviously, hopefully won't get picked up on YouTube. So we've got it to play. We still need to make sure the heads are nice and clean. I think I did give them a clean before I took the cover off, but we can see them a bit better now. Obviously, these last couple of switches, they are going to all need a clean. The record mechanism is going to need a clean. And I suspect it might need a capstan belt. We'll see. So let's back this tape back up again. I haven't got the little things on to hold it. Now this particular tape that I'm using here is some Scotch tape, so it tends to be fairly good as far as its longevity is concerned. All I have when it comes to Scotch is the re-record not fade away advert stuck in my head, but there we go. So let's spin this round and have a look at lubricating the last of the switches. Okay, so there's our switches. Fairly easy to get to. I'll give them a good squirt, a good operate. At the moment I've got the power turned off. So the giveaway is going to be put the power back on. And now the crackling that I was getting earlier has gone away. Okay, we'll have a look at the potentiometer and the switches that are here now, so I'll turn that around again. So there's the remaining two potentiometers, one here and one here. Where this little notch is, I'm going to give that a good spray, and then I'm just going to work it from one end to the other a couple of times from underneath. And as I'm doing that, I can feel it freeing up. So that's indicating to me that the gunk that's in there is becoming not gunk. Again with this one, yeah, it's made a lot of difference. As you do it, you really can feel them freeing up. And finally, final mechanism I want to give a spray to is record changeover. So I'm going to put some on there and just activate in and out of record. Right, let's turn you back around. Okay, so let's have a little look at this belt. What I'm going to do, I'm just seeing if I can turn the big wheel and stop the little wheel, and I can't. And there's not an awful lot of slack on it. And when I put my fingers on it and have a feel of it, okay, it's a little bit warm, but I think that might be okay. I'm just going to do an old trick with it. See if it makes any difference. Just flip it over half a turn. It's something, if you don't have a belt for a machine, sometimes you can get away with doing. The truth of the matter is this machine was playing okay, so I'm a little bit reluctant to go changing the belt. Now, having flipped that over, get that back in place, traction's there, and the other side of that belt's got quite a lot of rubberness on it, so don't think I'm going to mess with that. So let's connect back up. We'll connect an audio input to it, and let's see if we can do record and play on it. So I now have an audio source connected to this. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to set the volume levels. Okay, so we're going to start with the 1 channel. I want it to sort of linger around in the middle, and then I'm just going to duplicate that with the right channel. See, they're both about the same, and take the pause off. Now that should be recording to the tape. Now what I did want to do, which I forgot to do, I want to put this recorder into 7.5 inches per second, just to give us the best chance of a good recording. Put that under there, press the record button, and there we go. What we're going to do now is I'm going to connect you up so you hear what's going on directly. So we've got this to go into the Blackmagic recorder that's doing the video through a ground light isolator. We're going to come straight out of the reel to reel. Okay, so what we've got here, the first head here is raising the tape. This is recording, this is playing. So at the moment you're listening to what's coming into the machine. It's recording on there, and that's been ignored. When I flick this switch here, you're now listening to this audio head here. So it's recording on here, and then you're listening to it directly off the tape. It's a good way of checking that what you're recording onto a tape has actually worked. I'll come back in a minute. Recording really. The mouse, I don't want it going onto another track. At the end I would just want you to pause it. There. Right, that's finished recording. Let's rewind the tape. put this onto tape rather than source. That way you hear what's coming out there. We've got the equalisation set for 7.5 inches per second. And here we go. This is playback. For the age of the machine, for 70s reel to reel, I think this thing sounds quite good. We're using Scotch tape, so again it's a relatively good tape. I've got a nab based machine under the counter here that runs full 10-inch reels, and I've got some ex-BBC stuff, so it is reasonably good compared to that. We will do a video on that later. So that's working. So final things to do with this then, final thoughts, is we'll put it back together, back into its case, give it a final clean, and I think that's this machine working. So I'll come back to you in a minute. Let's rewind this tape. It is mesmerising looking at the reels going round. Now obviously I've recorded myself a little bit of test tape here. Okay, there we go. That's going to give us a bit of a test tape to play with some of the other machines as well, that we won't get in trouble with YouTube for, but I can only use it on the machines that are capable of 7.5 inches. I have got a couple of 3 1/4 machines about, I think, that we'll come to. So let's turn that off. Let's put the back on it, and then we'll assemble the head block. I'm not going to mess about with the belts in this because I'm more than happy it's working properly, and kind of don't fix what ain't broken. The belt's still nice and rubbery. It's got lots of stretch in it still. You know, it could well have been changed before I had it come into my hands, so I'm not going to just assume. I've had a look around at the capacitors on the amplifiers. There's no sign of anything looking dodgy, leaky or anything like that, and the machine is operating as it should, so I'm not going to mess with capacitors or anything along those lines again, because don't mess with what's not broken. And I'm not intending to keep this machine either. As I say, I've got a TX8 track, 4-track under the counter that we will be doing a video on at a later date. Okay, before we put the back on this, I'm going to do one final inspection, and I'm just having a look around here to make sure that the mains cable isn't damaged. I'm going to have a look down the entire length of the mains cable. I'm looking for nicks, cuts, damage, bits missed out. I'm going to check that the cable is in the cord grip properly here, which it is, and throw that piece of paper away because we hate those. Just make sure the cable was okay before putting it back together. If it wasn't, we'd have replaced the mains cable. So now we can see it in the back. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to retrieve the screws out of this little baggie I've got here, that I kept all the screws in the other day. So here we go. These are all the screws I took out of this. So we're going to look for the ones off the back first of all, which are these ones and these ones. So let's get the back and let's feed the back into place. How many times can you say back in a sentence? Back. Right. So we'll start. The 13 amp plug fits through there quite nicely. It's not compulsory to trash the place while you're putting these back together. It is an optional choice. Literally, I'm just going to feed that back into place, pop it onto its back so it falls in, and reinstate the screws. I have to say, when it comes to old kit, I like working on stuff like this because it is absolutely brilliant. It's reliable. There's not a lot to go wrong. And there's pretty much, when it comes to the electronic side of this, every part of this machine you can buy easily over the counter. Let's just put these back in the bottom here. Now, even though I'm pretty pleased and happy with the heads, I'm just going to give them a final clean just before I put it back together for the sake of it. There was so little come off that just. I know, you know, there's some marking, there's some head wear on it. At the end of the day, this machine, I think it's about 40 years old. Just giving this a clean off while there's no knob there, just for the sake of it. That's going to go onto here, sit in place there, put this back onto here. It sort of finds its place as I put it in. We'll stand it up and put the screws in the top. 2 screws, 1 screwdriver. Little bit of jiggling to get the screws in, but they're going easy enough. Okay, final test. Let's connect the audio out to the recorder and let's set you up. So, my advice, first things first, plugging it in helps. So let's put a take-up spool on, along with its little rubber clip. The spool that we've got the recording on. Set that for 7.5. Source is the tape. Power is on. Or power is off. It makes no difference. Because as soon as I lift that up there, the machine's armed. And put that into play, and we should have our recording. Well, there we go. That's doing exactly what it says on the tin. That's playing quite nicely, and I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've learnt a few things about the Akai 4000D, and if you have, please hit subscribe, like, and all of the other buttons. It does help me out. I think there's a bell icon or something, and have a look at some of the other stuff we've done. Thank you for watching, and I'll leave this playing for a couple of moments for you. Thank you.